Thank you, Keith. It's a pleasure to be here this afternoon to introduce you to Lydian. I'm sure for many of you, Lydian needs no introduction, but for some of you, it will. And so I'm very pleased to be able to represent the company here today and tell you our exciting story. Lydian, as the ambassador alluded to earlier today, Lydian is a US company that is pursuing a significant investment in Armenia in the mining sector. Lydian Armenia is our local subsidiary company. It's 100% owned by Lydian International, which is a Toronto-listed public company. The major shareholders are Orion Mine Finance, which is a New York-based company, Resource Capital Funds out of Denver, Colorado, and then some institutional investors, including VanEck, Franklin Templeton, and Sprott Resources, all out of the US. And this gives us more than a 50% shareholder base in the US. We also have, as on the shareholder register, IFC and EBRD, and Mark alluded to that earlier this morning in his presentation. We're very pleased to have their support and their seal of approval, I guess you would say. I certainly felt that from Mark this morning, so that was very much appreciated. And then we have a whole host of other international, both institutional, retail, and private investors. As of today, the market capitalization of the company is about $250 million. Up there it says US, but this is an old slide, and since the slide in the gold price over the last week, it's now 250 million Canadian. So it's also going to be, the investment that we're going to make in the Amulsar project will be one of the largest, probably the largest foreign investment in Armenia in the mining sector since independence. Amulsar is a unique project for Armenia because of the technology that we're bringing to the country for the first time. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute, but first of all, just to talk about the location. The Amulsar mountain is located on the borderline between Syunik Mars and Vadzor Mars down near the town of Jermuk. It's the first new gold discovery in Armenia, the first gold discovery in the country since independence. And we intend to mine it through open pit methods at 3 sites: Tigranes, Artavazdes, and Erato. This will be the first mine, as I said before, to use heap leaching technology in Armenia. Now, heap leaching technology is a modern mining or processing technique which does not produce tailings, and so does not require a tailings dam, and that makes it much easier to rehabilitate heap leach operations post-mining. Amulsar will produce or will process approximately 10 million tons per year of ore. The gold recovery of the processing facility will be about 87%, which for a heap leach facility is extremely high. And that will allow us to produce just over 200,000 ounces of gold per year over the 10-year mine life that we currently have proved. And I also should say that we have front-loaded the mine plan, so in the first 5 years of mining we'll produce closer to 250,000 ounces per year of gold. And our all-in sustaining costs will be under $600 an ounce. Up there we've put $585. That's a number that doesn't include our financing costs. If you add our financing costs, it's about another $30 an ounce. But when you consider that the gold price today is hovering just over $1,200 an ounce, it's a healthy margin for a mining operation. Amulsar was discovered and has been developed entirely through foreign investment. It was previously an unknown deposit. The area had been explored but never really sampled for gold. And so there was no real record from the Soviet era of there being gold on that mountain. And so it was discovered by Lydian geologists and Lydian company founders. And Lydian conducted the exploration drilling over the course of the last 10 years. We've obtained now a mining license that's valid until the 1st of January 2034. And we started construction activities earlier this year. So last year we went through a process of raising finance. And for any of you who are familiar with the mining industry over the last year. It was extremely difficult to raise any money for any sort of mining investment last year. And the fact that Lydian was able to do so is really testament to the quality of this project and to the fact that investors are beginning to see Armenia as an investment destination. And I'll come back to that a little bit as well later on. We intend there to be an 18-month construction period. So we expect to go into production in the first quarter of 2018. That's when we expect to pour our first bar of gold. And as I said, we have proved up a mine life of 10 years, but all of us who are involved in the project don't expect that to be the end of the life. All of us can see extensional opportunities and opportunities to grow this deposit significantly beyond what we know today and what we have proved today once we are able to do some additional drilling. And so after the mine is completed, we expect there to be a period of mine closure that, according to our current plan, would last about 5.5 years as we rinse the heap and rehabilitate the mine. According to the Armenian method of calculating reserves, our reserves are 89 million tons of ore. That contains almost 74 tons of gold at 0.8 grams per ton and 300 tons of silver at just under 10 grams per ton. From an economic point of view, the silver is not really significant. This really is a gold mine. This slide is a general layout of the site. The dark red dotted line or dashed line is the boundary of our rock allocation area. And within it, you can see Tigranes Artavazdes pits, Erato pit, our barren rock storage facility, and then the heap leach facility as well. And up to the north, the location of the Ketchut Reservoir, which will help orient you as to where we are. The Amulsar project will be a significant contributor to the economic development of Armenia. We've already invested $85 million over the course of the last 10 years in exploration and feasibility studies. We will be investing $370 million US during the course of construction over the course of the next 2 years. And once we're in production, the annual turnover of the mine, depending on the gold price of course, but at our feasibility study gold price of $11.50, the annual turnover of the mine will be $250 million US dollars. That means that, given the costs that I just talked about earlier, we'll be paying taxes and royalties in the country of between $40 and $50 million at that gold price. And that will contribute both to the government of Armenia, but also to the economic development of the region. Mining is a significant employer during construction, not so much during operations, but mining jobs tend to have a large knock-on effect in the economy. And so we expect to employ about 1,300 people at the peak of our construction workforce. And then over the course of the operational phase, we'll employ about 700 people. And as I said, we expect the multiplier effect of those jobs to be about 5 times. So we expect every direct job that we produce to create 5 additional jobs within the country. And our success in this country and with this mine is already promoting the reputation of the Republic of Armenia as a favorable international investment destination. And we will continue to do that. One of the very important things to Lydian, and it has been since the company was founded, was what is termed social license. And that means having a good relationship with all of the people, all of the stakeholders in the mine from a social perspective. And that starts with the communities that are immediately adjacent to the operation, but it extends out into the region and then more broadly out into the country. And so we treat all of the people that are impacted by our mine as stakeholders, and our objective is that all of those people will benefit from our activities in the region. And so over the course of our exploration, we've had a very close cooperation with our local communities, focused in on the 4 that are closest to us, which is the city of Jermuk, and then the towns of Gundavaz, Gorhaik, and Saravan. And we've conducted more than 90 social programs in those 4 towns since 2007. We've brought a new CSR culture to Armenia. And it's another aspect of having the IFIs involved, so EBRD and IFC, is that we have to achieve the high standards that they demand of us. We've been focused on economically sustainable projects, so we're trying to get away from mere philanthropy into projects that will have a strategic benefit for the region and that are aligned with our corporate objectives. We've done programs, as you can see on the slide, in agriculture, new technologies, greenhouses, fruit processing, animal husbandry, education, and healthcare. We've spent more than $1.3 million repairing infrastructure in the region, including the gas pipeline in Yerevan. We've constructed an irrigation channel connecting the Vorotan River to the town of Gundavaz and Goaik. We've renovated libraries, kindergartens, and schools, and reconstructed as well various facilities. We intend to apply best international practice at Amulsar mine. We've conducted environmental baseline studies since 2008. We've spent over $6 million over 6 years on baseline studies, environmental studies, and the preparation of both of our environmental impact assessment and our environmental and social impact assessment. And as Mark alluded to earlier in his presentation, the environmental and social impact assessment was really the first time that one of those has been done in Armenia by a mining company. It's over 1,500 pages, and it's being prepared by over 50 local and international scientists, consultants, and institutions, and they're listed on the slide. I won't read them to you. And really, it's the first ESIA in Armenia that really is in line with international standards. And we have control visits annually by EBRD and IFC. Our objective is to ensure that this mine will have a net gain in terms of its impact on the environment. So every mining operation inevitably has an impact on the environment. But an impact doesn't have to mean pollution and destroying the environment. And we would tend to control very carefully any particularly water that comes into contact with our mine site, and to be very careful about what we discharge and how we discharge. But the most important thing is that we have identified on our site new species which had not been identified before in Armenia. We've identified critical habitat for species which had not been identified before in Armenia. And so we've contributed significantly to the growth of the knowledge of the ecology and the biodiversity of Armenia. And our intention is that when we leave, despite the impact that the mine will have on some of that critical habitat and that ecology, that when we leave, we will have net gains of critical habitat and net gains in biodiversity. And we have several programs in place for that. And the key parts of that are the brown bear, which obviously is very important to the EBRD, being a European bank, and then also the Potentilla porphyrantha, which is a Red Book listed plant, which occurs in very few sites in Armenia because it occurs at high altitude. And so it occurs at the top of our mountain. And so we've been very careful to take care of that plant, and we have a comprehensive study going on with Cambridge University and the Institute of Botany here and ourselves. And then once that is all done, the mine is complete, we'll reclaim and decommission the mine, and we've budgeted over $50 million for that and for social compliance during closure. And so we are actively promoting Armenia as a foreign investment destination. One of the key questions that I get asked by my shareholders as I go around the world and talk to people is, where is Armenia? What happens in Armenia? People are very unaware of Armenia, and particularly as an investment destination, and particularly for mining. And I think that it's in all of our interests in this room to promote Armenia as an investment destination. I think everybody in this room can benefit from that. I think the conference that we had in New York a few weeks ago was a very good start. I was very encouraged by that, and I think we need to do a lot more of that. And we're certainly going to be happy to participate with the government of Armenia, and I challenge all the other companies and service providers in this room to partner with us and with the government in promoting Armenia as an investment destination. We're going to be committed to transparency, to high levels of safety, to protecting the environment, to community relations. We'll be a good corporate citizen. We'll pay our taxes. We'll abide by the law. we contribute to economic development. And as I said, we are committed to continuing to promote Armenia as a jurisdiction for foreign investment and for mining in particular. Thank you very much, and with that I'll be happy to take any questions if there are any.